one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
I'm a very forgiving person. Not with him. I hate this bastard. You fat piece of shit.
No days off. 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 Go Pats!
Boy, y'all wouldn't even believe what time I am recording this show. I'm on a new sleep schedule right now. So it's pretty, what time is this? 10 in the morning, Eastern time. I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. I was expecting to do another playoff prediction video or playoff preview video, but that is not what's about to happen. See, we done had a lot of things transpire in the last 24 hours, 48 hours or so. In the sports world and the sports media world. We got people calling other individuals fat, no good bastards. You know, just the, oh my goodness, just the, you know, people going at Aaron Rodgers. Hey, I told y'all, I said last year, I can't keep listening to these Aaron Rodgers interviews, bruh. These shits is some of the worst 30 plus minutes of conversation I listened to. So I had to stop. And now the world is seeing what the fuck I was saying last year. But a lot has transpired in these last couple hours. You got the GOAT, the fucking GOAT, Nick Saban, Saint Nick, retiring from Alabama. Boy, that shit hit like a ton of bricks. Boy, I'm like, what the hell? A lot of things transpired today. But we want to start off the show by actually answering a tweet. See, I mean, not a tweet, a comment on the video. See, last video I talked about Giannis and Kevin Durant, both in their primes, and who I would prefer as the better player and who I saw. But see, we got a fellow flocker, fellow Raven fan, my guy Gianni. He disagreed. And obviously, y'all know I have no problem with disagreeing for the simple fact this is not a factual type of thing or as a definitive thing. This is up for opinion. If you have a intelligent, information and backing of as to how you feel, I'm always going to listen to it. I can be persuaded, because let me tell you something. I do not put KD up there with Giannis as far as historically, even though I prefer KD's skill set. That sounds crazy, I know. But Gianni, I agree with everything you said in the tweet. That's why it's a hard conversation for me, but that's why I was able to split the difference. See, if you ask me who do I think the greater player is, I think it's Giannis. Because to me, it's something to be said about being able to lead your team to a championship yourself and winning it. I understand Kevin Durant led that Oklahoma City Thunder team to a championship, but they didn't win it. If I'm giving the same credit to people who took a team there compared to the ones who won it, then I got to start saying Joe Burrow on the same level as Pat Mahomes, and that's just not going to happen. I have nothing but respect for Kevin Durant. I am not one of those people who diminish his career. I think Kevin Durant, one of the top 20 players I've never seen in my lifetime. However, I saw Giannis have to go out there, lead that team that I do not think had the type of talent that, for one, they didn't have the talent on their team that Phoenix had. They just had the best player on the court. They didn't have the talent on their team. And I'm not killing teams who won championships with talent. Every team got to have talent on their team to win it. But when I look at who Giannis had playing beside him to win his championship, and I see what he had to do, what he contributed into winning that championship, yeah, to me, it's a little bit different than Kevin Durant winning his titles with Steph Curry. And I'm not diminishing his titles that he won with Steph Curry, but I do recognize while he might have been the most talented player out of him and Steph at the time, I don't really know. It's hard to say on that one because it's a matter of what you're feeling, because both him and Steph have insane. Go look at I'm not a fan of numbers. Go look at what both Kevin Durant and Steph Curry averaged in the finals when they was on the same team. It's really pick 'em. Both of them. I know Kevin Durant won 2 finals MVPs. He should not have won both of them. Steph Curry definitely should have won one of those. But I don't even know what the media's fetish is with robbing Steph Curry of those finals MVPs, because to this day, there's no way Andre Iguodala should have won that final. I done seen every single final Steph Curry played in. Every single game, every minute of those games. If you really believe that Steph Curry was not the MVP in that finals, you're on crack. And I don't want to hear this shit where, LeBron should have won it. Bro, they lost. They lost. If you lose the finals, you cannot be the finals MVP. That doesn't make sense. But I digress on that. But Gianni, I'm right there with you. I get what you're saying. However, if they asked me the question of the greater player, I definitely would have said Giannis. He got the defensive player of the years. He got the all-team defensive player. He got the all-team NBA player. I mean, Giannis's resume when he retire is going to be absolute insanity. However, the question was asked in their prime, whose bag would I take? Who offensively, or, well, not even in their primes, which player they asked me would I take? And I didn't think that was meaning the greater player historically. Just in their primes, which one would I take? I'm still taking Kevin Durant. To me, Giannis's offensive game is just so limited. And I understand the threes he can hit here or there. I understand sometimes he become a great distributor of the ball, but I can't rely on him game in, game out to be a great distributor of the ball and to hit threes. Not only that, he's not a mid-range shooter at all. On top of that, at one point in time in his prime, mind you, you could still say Giannis is in his prime. So I'm basically taking they best 3 years of their career at this moment. As a matter, I'm not even doing that. I'm taking Kevin Durant's 3 years in Golden State when he won those titles, and I'm taking Giannis's stretch where he won that title in the year before and the year after, where he was putting up monster numbers. Giannis's offensive game, in my opinion, even now, right now, is still so far and away lacking compared to Kevin Durant's. I mean, you got to think Kevin Durant can back you down, back to the basket. He can get a bucket in the down low. He can shoot from the mid range. He can pull up for three. He can shoot the three. He can come off of a pick and roll, come off a screen. Like, there's no way that you can stop Kevin Durant. Basically have to just be having an off night shooting wise. And because of his length and his height, he could just go up over the top of people and get a bucket. Giannis can't do that. Giannis can, play bully ball. But what happened when people start, and one of the reasons I think Giannis don't have as many chips as he should have at this point is because they find ways to stop bully ball. At the end of the day, if we can find a way to be as physical as you, two things is going to happen. We're going to get those offensive charges, and you're going to tire yourself out eventually. If we continue to play this rotation of physical ball, meeting you at the point of attack. Because you was able to game plan like that on Giannis, you never seen a team be able to game plan Kevin Durant like that during his stretch. You never saw. The only way you could stop Kevin Durant or Steph Curry was when they weren't on the same team and you could double team them. Now, I understand Kevin Durant did have Steph Curry, Giannis, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. I actually think it's more important that he had Draymond than it was that he had Klay Thompson. You see, I'm not as big a Klay fan as some people. As a matter of fact, if you ask me who was my least favorite Warrior during a stretch of dominance, it was Klay Thompson. Like, to me, I feel as though Klay Thompson was one player who never improved his game on a year-to-year basis after people kept saying, oh, he great defensively. Oh, he a great shooter. Them the only things he ever improved on was shooting and defense. And then it was just okay after that. When you look at Kobe Bryant, you look at Steph Curry, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant. You look at the true greats, Michael Jordan. They had to improve on multiple things on a year-to-year basis. So when Steph Curry came, I meant to say Steph. When Steph Curry came back from those ankle injuries, matter of fact, I won't even use Steph. Use Paul George. Paul George suffered a gruesome injury. Paul George is still a great player. Paul George done been in the MVP conversation since he done come back. He done still been one of the top two-way players in the game since he came back. What's Klay Thompson's excuse? In my opinion, it's something there that's not clicking. Klay Thompson's game, if you watch him, did not improve on a year-to-year basis in different areas. He just remained the same player, basically, and people was fine with that because he had Kevin Durant. He had Steph Curry. He had Andre Iguodala. He had Sean Livingston. He had Draymond Green. He had Jordan Poole. And so, in my opinion, the people who took all those shots at Draymond Green on a regular basis because he's not that prolific scorer that Klay Thompson was, well, Klay Thompson couldn't get buckets in multiple ways for the majority of his career. After the injuries, he became a reduced player and he never was better in other areas. So he just kept getting worse to this moment. So I don't look at Klay Thompson the way some people look at Klay Thompson. And you don't have to agree with me what I say about Klay Thompson because there's people who don't argue with it. But I had my homeboy argue about Klay Thompson early in the season. And it's very funny what's playing out right now. I'm just saying. However, I understand people who would take Giannis Antetokounmpo in his prime over, or in that stretch of his prime over Kevin Durant. For me, however, as much as I appreciate Giannis's defense, the fact that Kevin Durant can get a bucket the way he could go get a bucket in his prime. I mean, he was almost a walking 35 plus point a game player. I mean, now when we rank in greatness, like greatest players of all time, yeah, it'd be very hard for me to put Kevin Durant over Giannis Antetokounmpo. And plus, when I think my list of greats, like my Mount Rushmore NBA players is MJ, Kobe, Steph, and LeBron. I don't see nobody replacing them for anyways. Like, I wouldn't put Giannis on that mountain over none of them dudes right now. So really, this is an interesting question anyways, because I don't put Kevin Durant or Giannis on that mountain. However, if you said make another mountain with your next four players, Giannis would be on there. But Kevin Durant would be on there too, because 2 finals still means something. I just wouldn't have him over Giannis, but he still would be there. Like, and I do think it hurt Kevin Durant that he haven't found a way to win since Steph Curry, but that was just more evidence that he's not a leader of men. He a great mercenary, but a leader of men who can lead his guys and help them raise their level of play to win a championship, that's just not him. And that's okay. He done said multiple times he want to go to the gym, hoop, go home. So I get it. Some dudes, we want our favorite players and the top players to be the leaders and the vocal leaders and the emotional leaders, but that's just not some dudes, bro. It's just not, and I get it. That's why I've never had a problem with Kevin Durant. That's why I said before, when Kevin Durant went to Golden State, ask anybody who know me. I said that season before he was going to Golden State because I said it don't make no sense for him to go anywhere else. If he went anywhere else other than Golden State, it'd be stupid. If you're trying to win a championship and you're not going to Golden State, he would have re-signed with OKC because no other team makes sense. He's not going to sign with LeBron because that's who he's trying to beat. I said he's going to Golden State, bro. And at the time, one of the other reasons I said it was because Dre and Clay were not the players that people try to make it out that they were. Like, people trying to act like at that time, I know they had won a ring, but go back and actually watch that first championship that the Warriors won. Klay Thompson wasn't like a Kyrie level type of player during that run. Bro, when Steph struggled, they lost. When Steph balled out, they won. That's why I don't like this little excuse people give LeBron. Like, oh, he didn't have no help at that finals. Bro, you was going up against a team that was in their first finals. The best player on that team by a landslide was Steph Curry, and he wasn't even the Steph Curry that he is now because he didn't know how to get buckets in multiple ways at that time. Steph Curry, the prolific scorer he is now, was not the player that LeBron played in that first finals. You don't believe me? You don't have to. Just go back and watch that finals. I watched every second. I remember exactly where I was at Campbell University when I was watching it. This is why I say you got to watch the games. I hate when I hear people put certain players above certain players and say this player ain't got a chance to do. Bro, I saw them teams Kobe had to win with without Shaq. Put Shaq on them teams, take Kobe off. Those are not championship teams. Take Kobe off that team, put LeBron on it. Those are not championship teams. That's why I get irritated when I hear people say Kobe didn't make people around him better. He just made himself better. And that's not true. I watched those years where he had Shannon Brown, Sasha Vujacic, Jordan Farmar, Lamar Odom, Trevor Ariza. I remember those years. Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum. I remember those years. Those players wasn't great nowhere else. All due respect to Trevor Ariza, who was a damn good role player on other teams, the 3-and-D guy. All respect to Pau Gasol, who is a Hall of Fame player in my opinion, but none of his years matched what he did in LA with Kobe. But Kobe didn't make those players better. Do you know the teams Kobe beat in those finals? Do you know the level of play he had to get Pau to avenge the loss that they had when they first played the big three of Boston in those finals? See, Boston's run was short-lived because Kobe took him out in the finals the second time they got there. Dwight Howard and that Magic team, that Orlando Magic team with Rashard Lewis, Jameer Nelson, Hedo Turkoglu, Mikael Pietrus, all those shooters, and Dwight Howard in his absolute prime, they couldn't get off the ground because Kobe took him out. With Sasha Vujacic playing big minutes. Jordan Farmar. Like, come on, man. Stop playing with me, bruh. Stop playing with me. If this was LeBron, y'all motherfuckers would be talking about some trade the coach, trade these players. He need help. Kobe said, nah, I got enough help. 24 was a IQ-based player. He didn't have to do it with just his athleticism no more. Did you see him against the Nuggets? Oh, taking out that Kenyon Martin, Young Mello, J.R. Smith, Andre Miller. Did you see him against that Nuggets? Did you see him against the Spurs? Oh my God, against Phoenix? Oh my goodness. That's the Steve Nash led Phoenix when they had Marion, Barbosa, Bell, Stoudemire. Kobe said, don't matter. You give me Sasha, you give me Trevor, you give me Shannon, you give me Powell, and I'm going to take us there. It just hit different. And so I understand Gianni wanting Giannis over Kevin Durant. I'm not even going to argue with him about that. I respect that. I really do. But for me, it's just hard for me to take that stretch. Now, like I said, greater player. Yeah, I'm more than likely taking Giannis because he led a team to a championship with lesser than talent and won that bit and came back to win that thing too against Phoenix. And to me, Phoenix was the more talented team in that finals. But boy, if you tell me you take this 3-year stretch of both of their careers and who I'm taking first in that, Giannis's offensive game is just so lacking compared to what Kevin Durant could go do. And Kevin Durant played good defense in Golden State. Phenomenal defense in Golden State. Like, Kevin Durant should have made an all-defensive team one of them years he was in Golden State. And I'm not sure that he didn't. But he should have definitely made an all-defensive team at least 2 out of the 3 years he was in Golden State. Because go and watch the film. Kevin Durant and Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala was... Now, I know people are going to immediately give all the credit to Dre and Andre. And I get it. Those is two phenomenal defensive players. Like, if you go watch Andre Iguodala in his greatest years in Golden State and how he was able to lock people up, it was unreal. Go look at Draymond Green, which is why I always question people's basketball IQ when it comes to Draymond. Because if you don't think Draymond Green is a first ballot Hall of Famer, you clearly don't watch the Warriors. I say it all the time. Steph Curry obviously was great having Kevin Durant for those 2 years. But when you look at the majority of his years, Steph Curry did not need Klay Thompson. He needed Draymond Green. This confusion that people have of who was the bigger role player or who played the bigger role in the finals with Steph, y'all got this all fucked up. Go back and watch those finals. Draymond Green played the bigger role than Klay Thompson. Not the other way around. So I've always thought Draymond Green was the second best player on that Golden State team when you didn't have Kevin Durant there. I didn't even think Klay was, bro, and I'm not trying to disrespect Klay, bro. I'm just thinking to myself, and this is the thing, the way I thought Kevin Durant, his offensive game is so far and away better than Giannis, I don't think that about Klay. Klay is a catch and shooter, a catch and shoot type of guy. In the same way he was scoring them points in his prime, that very short stretch of a prime he had, is a bunch of misses now and bad basketball now. I really believe y'all overrated Klay because of Steph. And you didn't even realize it. You tried to use Klay as the excuse for Steph, when in actuality, if you take Steph Curry off of the Warriors, none of these players are what you think they are, especially Klay Thompson. It was role players, in my opinion, who played bigger roles in those finals and that playoff stretches than Klay Thompson. Yeah, I know people going to say, oh, game 6 Klay. Go look up how actual many game 6s he had where he was just out of this world. I'm just saying. Now, he had a great series against the Trailblazers. But so did fucking Steph Curry because they always play good against Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum, bruh. But we done had enough basketball talk. There's other things to get into. I just had to answer my man. I had to give my man Gianni appropriate breakdown in time. But Gianni, I agree with you 100%. And also, I have no problem with a regular viewer writing an essay the way my man Gianni did. But bro, if you're not commenting on a regular basis and you don't watch the show on a regular basis, bro, you can comment. But I'm not reading no fucking essay like old buddy had wrote in the thing. Plus, old buddy was about to write a whole bunch of bullshit about Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson, bro. Trying to get a credit to the defense and all this type of nonsense. Some shit that he wouldn't do for Dak Prescott. So I'm not even finna get into that with him, buddy. And I ain't reading that whole shit. Your first couple sentences already let me know. When I pushed read more, I was like, oh, buddy, you got me fucked up. I didn't even read the whole thing before I pushed read more. The way he started it off made me think to myself, man, this might be a lengthy little This might be a lengthy little comment. And boy, was it. But we had Nick Saban has retired. Bill Belichick has been let go from the New England Patriots. Mike Variable has been let go. Steve Kerr. What's my man's name? Pete Carroll has been let go. Who else was let go? A lot of coaches let go, bro. A lot of coaches let go. Now, I think this is the best case scenario for the New England Patriots. I've been talking about that the last couple shows. In my opinion, as much as I don't think Bill Belichick is a bad head coach. I think Bill Belichick is an absolute terrible evaluator of talent. What do I mean? When you the GM and you miss on as many Pro Bowl players, all pro level players as he done missed on, you should have been fired, to be completely honest with you. And so in a sense, I don't even completely blame Belichick for how this thing ended, because having a Tom Brady level player and you being with him all them years could kind of get you a little punch drunk on your own sauce. You thinking you more than what you actually were. The players at the end of the day still have to go out there and perform on the field. And that's why I always give them more credit than the head coach. However, if somebody had stepped in and said, let somebody else take over the GM controls, you could have got better players. The year Lamar Jackson was in the draft, and thank God this didn't happen, I said the Patriots are going to draft Lamar Jackson. I said there's no way they don't. They get into the end of their time with Tom Brady. They don't have talent over here. They need to restart and reset the organization. I was like, they're definitely going to draft Lamar Jackson. They traded the draft pick to Baltimore, and Baltimore took Lamar Jackson. Hindsight is 2020. I understand it, but that is a god awful move. I thought it at the time, and I'm still thinking it now. That's why I bring it up. I understand a lot of teams passed on Lamar Jackson. At the time, I didn't realize how great Lamar Jackson was. I just knew. That's why we know now that it was stupid that all those teams passed on him. But I thought that New England was an organization that could have took a Lamar Jackson and turned him into to what he is now. I was clearly wrong. So when I think about how this all started to go bad for Belichick, I think a lot of it started with bad draft picks, not taking the right players, passing on Pro Bowl level players, passing on so many different receivers, bro. So many receivers they passed on. To look at what they have out there at the receiving position, not just this year, but since Tom Brady left, look at what they done had out there. Even in his last year, look at what they had out there. To me, if I'm New England, I understand it'll be easy to blame Bill because he is the one who was the GM. But, you know, if you not making a move and not being, that's what I told y'all this before, bro. When teams feel like, oh, we too respected to call each other out on their bullshit, well, that's how you become a stagnant organization and you eventually become a bad one. Because somebody should have told Bill, these not good draft picks. You're missing on too many players. We have to replace you at this position. You can still be the head coach because you can coach up talent, but you clearly can't draft talent. Clearly you don't have an eye for talent. You can coach it. Now, listen, he did make some decent draft picks. However, a lot of his best players struggled when they left him, played good when they came back. So how good were they really? And you look at some of his Super Bowl years, it ain't like he didn't have talent on that team. Some of the talent he didn't even draft. Now, I understand those early Ty Law and, you know, Vince Wilfork and all that. I remember those best Patriot teams. But I also remember having Randy Moss over there. I also remember when you got Darrelle Revis over there. So a better GM could have fixed a lot of this and set them up for better success, in my opinion. And then what you end up doing with Mac Jones, to me, that's when it really solidified that it was time to make a change. When you were not willing to improve, when you made a defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator for Mac Jones, that showed me how little you cared about Mac Jones and his development and how much you just cared about your record as a head coach and your ego. I don't win this many Super Bowls, so anything I do is going to be gold. That was foolish. And in my opinion, You cost Mac Jones the first couple years of his career. And who knows if Mac Jones will be able to bounce back. But I know you cost Mac Jones a good portion of his career because you put no effort into truly getting him better. So I agree with firing Bill Belichick. I think it's time for the New England Patriots to finally evolve and move into a new era of Patriot football. If I were the New England Patriots, I'm hiring an offensive-minded guy. And I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to lie to you. I would probably prefer to hire a younger guy also. So I'm probably headed to Kyle Shanahan's, Sean McVay coaching trees. I don't know who going to get the job, but the Patriots definitely, in my opinion, should be moving to a offensive-minded, because the Patriots, in my opinion, you'll figure the Patriots can't be afraid to be bad for a couple more years. In my opinion, you have to replace this entire Bill Belichick era of staff, coaching staff. Like, everybody who is connected to Bill gotta go. You don't want no Bill Belichick minded type stuff in the building no more. You trying to move into a whole new era of Patriots football. And that's going to be offensive, fun. People want to play here again. People actually like playing here. People don't feel like we being drill sergeants here. Like, you want to refresh the entire organization like the Rams did when they got rid of what's buddy's name? Jeff Fisher a couple years ago, and they made that move to Sean McVay. They went to LA. They just freshened up the entire organization, and look at what they got them. So to me, that's what you should be trying to do if you're the New England Patriots. And I think they can do it. I think they are good enough to make, I think they smart enough, because this is the same owner that hired Bill. So I have to think that while he haven't had to make a coaching hire in a number of years, it still is a great coaching hiring at the end of the day. So I do believe he'll end up making the right move. The one dude who I hope he don't hire, though, is Mike Vrabel. I done seen that being thrown out there, bro. And I think Mike Vrabel is a great head coach, a good head coach. I don't think he's a great head coach. Like, in order for me to think I think he is a great culture setter. But culture can only take you so far at a certain point, bro. You still have to have great coaching hires and all that type of stuff. And if I'm really looking at Vrabel, bro, a lot of his success hinged on Derrick Henry going crazy. I'm just being honest. A lot of his success hinged on, watch the games, teams playing down unnecessarily or unexpectedly against the Titans at times. Like, it wasn't like they were favored in a lot of these games to where you like, okay, this is a juggernaut type of team. That's not what they were. They played in a division that didn't have a quarterback. Like, it was no good quarterbacks in their division for a while throughout that success he had with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was like the best player in the fucking division. The Colts was going through their quarterbacks. The Jags going through their quarterbacks. The Texans going through that whole Deshaun Watson stuff. Like, to me, Mike Vrabel was a good coach by situation and circumstance, more so because of the X's and O's. Like, if I ask you, what do Mike Vrabel do great? You gonna say what? He was a great leader of men? You're not gonna say he ran a great offense. You're gonna say Derrick Henry was a legendary player at that time, having a legendary streak. The defense had great players, and they wasn't never the level that I think they should have been at. So, while I understand people like Mike Vrabel, I think if you really look, because what did he bring to that team offensively, defensively, like that made them better, that made them stand out? Like I said, I think if you really sit down and look at it, he was more so a good coach by circumstance and a weak division. And that's no disrespect to Mike Vrabel. That's why I don't have a problem with the Titans firing him. I thought they should have fired his ass last year, but I just don't think that. And then look at the draft picks, bro. He had to have some type of say in these dumbass quarterback draft picks that they done made. I don't think they have a quarterback of the future on their roster. I don't think Will Levis is a great quarterback. Maybe you do. I don't. I don't think him, Malik Willis, and Tannehill ain't even going to be there next year. To me, And I know some people will say, well, look what he did with Tannehill. Yeah, he gave Tannehill confidence, but that's more so because he didn't really have an option. And Tannehill was playing bad football to end most of these years or in big games, and you still didn't replace him. You still kind of started letting ego get to you and was like, I found Tannehill. I rebirthed his career, so he going to figure it out. So, to me, at the end of the day, he was a good coach, but I wouldn't really. I'm still interested in what he really would. To me, if you think Brandon Staley was a bad coach, then you think, how much better was Mike Vrabel? Because Mike Vrabel had talent on his team. The same coach that let them get rid of, y'all can keep acting like Mike Vrabel had nothing to do with stopping that trade from going through with, AJ Brown, bro. Listen, maybe he didn't have nothing to do with it, but all I know is I think y'all kind of overrating Mike Vrabel, or the media is overrating Mike Vrabel. I'm interested to see where he go next, though. But I don't think he like some God tier level head coach. I don't. Bill Belichick. Where do I think he gonna end up next? I would really like to see Bill go to Carolina if he is willing to evolve. If he's not going to evolve, if he's not going to be willing to adapt and hire a brand new offensive type staff, a staff that he might not know, a staff that he might end up losing after a year or two because they're good enough to where they get poached from a different organization. But I want to see him freshen up because I think Bill is still a great leader of men, is still a great coach. I just think he doesn't let his ego get in the way of his evolution. So I don't really think this is the end for him because if you saw how great he could still coach at the end of the season for the Jets, to me, Carolina make a lot of sense for the simple reason Charlotte is a beautiful city. I think Bill Belichick would love living in Charlotte. And it's a young quarterback who he can mold into what he want him to be if he can go out and evolve. If he's not ready to evolve, then I think he should try to go to the Chargers. Because, yeah, you got a young quarterback, but you pretty much know what Justin Herbert is at this point. So if you get a coach that can do what he does defensively, maybe even, I done seen the Chargers defense play great, but if you can get Bill Belichick to turn that Chargers defense into a perennial juggernaut, then you make the game a lot easier for Justin Herbert at this point. And then it really becomes just make, maybe 20 something points a game will work for him at this point. I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for Justin Herbert, man. But nonetheless, I'm trying to find my apple juice. Nonetheless, I think the number one coach I like to see in Carolina is Eric Bieniemy. But if they don't hire Eric Bieniemy, I would love to see Bill Belichick in Carolina. I just think that would be something to see. I don't know why. My mind is just pulling Bill to Carolina. Eric Bieniemy, in my opinion, should get Carolina or that Chargers job. I just have so much faith in Bieniemy. My faith in Bieniemy grew in his offense after seeing what the Chiefs became without his offense. Because I know some people would like to say, oh, well, they didn't have no weapons this year. They didn't have no weapons last year either. And you saw how good the offense still looked under Eric Bieniemy. That's a coach that coached coached up his players, even Pat Mahomes. Because you see the clear impact this had since he done left the team. So to me, Eric Bieniemy is 100%. He need to get one of these coaching jobs by season's end or by the start of next season. Mike Vrabel, where do I see him next? I don't know, man. Because I really think I would like to see a lot of other coaches get jobs before I see Mike Vrabel get another one. And again, I don't think Mike Vrabel is a bad head coach. I just don't know what make him special as a head coach that made me think a team got to go get him. Team got to get him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know, because I don't want to see him get none of these jobs, to be quite frank with you, before I see another head coach get one of these jobs. But that's just my personal opinion. Aaron Rodgers. Yo, Aaron Rodgers is hilarious, son. I told y'all last year, I cannot stand watching Aaron Rodgers, bro, because the shit that he be saying. And it's like he always feel like he the smartest motherfucker in the room. But it's like I be listening to some of the shit he be saying, and he just be talking circles around motherfuckers, because he be saying a whole bunch of nothing. He just used big words and a lot of elongated phrases and shit to get to no point. And so it's very funny. You know, if you're not up on game, Aaron Rodgers basically called Jimmy Kimmel a pedophile a couple weeks ago by saying he hoped he was on that Epstein list, or he hoping that Epstein list don't come out. Basically insinuating that Jimmy Kimmel was a pedophile. And Jimmy Kimmel responded in a tweet. I remember saying something about it, like he said he'll sue him and take him to court for defamation of character. And I agree, bro. If you up here calling me a pedophile just because you don't like me, bro, you done lost your mind. Let's take this to court, bro. That's a defamation of character, especially in this society where you got so many fanboys and stans that'll start spreading that ignorant ass information for anybody they don't like. Most people don't even know these people, and they just don't like them. Most of these people haven't done anything that should make you not to question their character, anything like that. They just hate all rich people, because all rich people got to be bad. Some sect in the Illuminati picked all these rich people to sit atop of society, bro. It's crazy. So you gotta hate them if you broke. But, you know, it's not shocking to me that Pat McAfee, and you know, Pat McAfee done announced that no more Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays or Wednesdays, whatever the fuck day it is that he come on the show. But, you know, Jimmy Kimmel, I saw his monologue when he was talking about Aaron Rodgers, and, you know, the 2 A's he got on his report card was both in the name Aaron Rodgers and, well, both in the name Aaron. And that was a funny little line there. He was roasting Aaron Rodgers. I ain't gonna lie. He was going in. And, you know, he did say, if you just apologize, bruh, say you're wrong, you know, I might let it go. I'll probably let it go. I knew, much like Jimmy knew, that Aaron was not going to do that. I don't even know why I knew that, bruh. But when he said it, I said, bruh, that is not going to happen. This motherfucker Aaron Rodgers is just too arrogant. I said he is going to find a way to talk himself out of this, or try to talk himself out of this, because he think he's smarter than everybody else. And what did he go on the Pat McAfee show and do? Not only take more shots at more random ass people, but he also did not apologize. And he made it seem like Jimmy Kimmel heard him wrong. No, Aaron, you insinuated that the man was a pedophile. See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. This hippy dippy ass weirdo, man. This is what I'm talking about, bro. This is why I like to watch instead of just hearing secondhand shit. Because if I didn't watch all those interviews in the past with Aaron Rodgers, I don't know where we went wrong, bro. Yes, I do. These interviews with Aaron Rodgers, they started off so fun-loving, so good, so energetic, talking about football, talking about funny things in life and then just one day, the COVID shit where he was immunized. And it all went downhill from there, bro. I'm telling you. Aaron Rodgers is a man who done clearly had a grudge out against the world for so long. And whether you agree with him or not, that interview that he did with Pat McAfee on a regular basis was no longer entertaining unless you a conspiracy theorist, unless you one of them people who so can, what they talk about, left wing, right wing. Like, bro, this is a sports show, bro. Don't nobody give a fuck about none of that shit, man. That's why I stopped listening to this shit. And now the man accusing, basically insinuating that other dudes is pedophiles. He won't apologize for it. Instead, he tried to take the route of, I can out talk motherfuckers again because I'm smarter than everybody. Listen, man. I saw this coming one day. Not that he was going to call somebody a pedophile, just that he was going to say some old stupid shit on the show one day that was going to end up getting Pat McAfee in some trouble. And I know Pat McAfee a big boy. Pause. I know he a grown ass man. I know he can handle business. But, you know, Pat had to see this coming also. And it's a shame Pat didn't get ahead of this thing, man, and talk to Aaron Rodgers in private, because I get it. I get it. when you have a dude on the level of player that Aaron Rodgers is, you just appreciate having him on your show because nobody else got him on their show. However, at the end of the day, I told you, bro, after listening to these interviews with him, I would have been like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. This is not entertaining at all. But, you know, Aaron Rodgers will be Aaron Rodgers. I do find it funny that ESPN allowed Aaron Rodgers to go on that show all the time and talk and say the shit that he was saying. Like, bro, these conversations wasn't even about football at this point no more. They talk about football for like 2 minutes, and then they talk about some other shit. And I didn't even like hearing Aaron Rodgers talk about football no more. Like, I didn't think he was making good football points no more. And I know some people gonna say, well, he a 4-time MVP, Super Bowl winner. Saint, how can you question his football logic? I wasn't questioning his football logic. I'm telling you the shit that he was talking about on football and things that he was saying was more delved and biased in his like for somebody. Like, Aaron Rodgers wasn't, I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm just going to tell you that these conversations have become less about football and the intelligence, more about him going at people, not liking other people's opinion, people that he don't like saying something. So he had to go back at him. And I'm telling you, these shits was no longer about football, bro. So I was good on it. It just felt like white man yells at the sky, that yells at people who you don't like. White man has bad day, goes on Pat McAfee show and spews all this bullshit. So that's what it was to me. That's why I stopped watching that shit. And now I bet you those views gonna start going up now that people know that book. Now some people gonna hate watch Pat McAfee. Some people gonna really stop watching it because they don't like Aaron Rodgers. But you know, I'm gonna still catch the show here. And I don't watch the live show no more just because I'm too busy. Plus, I'm always working at that time that they shooting the show live, so I never catch the live show anyways. But I don't go back and watch the full show over that much no more either, because it's a whole bunch of other stuff I gotta watch and do because I have my own show now that I'm trying to grow. So, you know, nonetheless, a lot of different things. Pete Carroll, do I think he will go somewhere next? I don't really know. I think I saw a thing where they say he moved up into a front office position for the Seahawks. I actually think that's best for Pete. Pete's best coaching days, to me, I don't know if he got too many great ones left because I think the Seahawks won too many games. I told y'all last year I didn't believe in Geno, even though I thought Geno had a ceiling. Anytime a quarterback have a ceiling, a lot of things got to kick right for them to win a Super Bowl. And more times than not, you can't rely on them on a year-to-year basis. You don't really know what you're going to get. And so, unless they lost enough games in order to get a quarterback and keep Pete, which I thought they missed that little window, which was the first year you got rid of Russ. That's when you should have lost out in order to get a quarterback. I think a lot of different these coaching things could have changed if egos had changed. Quarterback coaches wanting to prove they can still win without their franchise quarterback that they had just had cost a lot of these dudes their jobs and games and wins down the road. Because yeah, I understand you felt like you changed Geno Smith's career around, but if you really looked at those games, Geno wasn't really nothing special, and he still had a lot of talent around him. If you thought Russ benefited because of the talent around him, then what did Geno benefit from? Because Seattle still have a good offensive weaponry, and the defense was hot garbage last year. But to me, if the Seahawks had lost out, got themselves a quarterback, because look at the division. You play in a division that's got Kyler Murray, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay and not Jared Goff. What's my man's name? Stafford. So losing out and getting a quarterback would have prolonged Pete Carroll's career. But hey, I don't see him. I think a front office position is a great job for him right now, just because I just think if you can't evolve like John Harbaugh is such a great example. Look at how drafting Lamar Jackson, which was an Ozzie Newsome thing, which is why I know Ozzie is just a proud papa right now. to see what Lamar Jackson gonna come. He like, bro, I drafted this kid, bro. Like, this is my great. Ozzy gonna say that this is greatest draft pick one day. Watch. But to make that draft pick and to basically force John Harbaugh to evolve, but not just forcing him to, John Harbaugh was fully willing to. He gave the keys to the castle to Lamar Jackson when he made that switch, and he never looked back. When he stayed with him in the playoff game, see, I think that's going to pay off. I think the Ravens are going to end up playing the Cleveland Browns, and I think the Ravens going to win that game, and it's going to be further proof I stuck with you over Joe Flacco. And this is the result now. All these years later, here is the payoff. Let's go win this Super Bowl, kid. I'm telling you. It's going to be a beautiful ending this year for the Ravens, man. I can just feel it in my bones. If I'm wrong, probably going to shed a thug tear. But I feel very confident in this one. Like Lamar said, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. Cam Newton say, motherfucker can't be no more locked in. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. The next episode, we will be back to the playoff previews. Go find somebody to fuck with and love out there, man. You dig what I'm saying? Go make somebody's day better. You could be anything in the world, so choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.